Welcome back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob here. It's a matinee for us here, Sunday. I noticed it might be a little brighter in here, but that is because we have Bruins tonight. So the Bruins play tonight at 6:30. Obviously, most of you guys are going to be listening to this tomorrow, so this will be in the past for you. It's in the future for us. So get yourself ready for some disappointment if you're a Bruins fan. We got Game 7 against the Florida Panthers. Probably not going to go so hot. It hasn't been going so hot for the last two games. It is what it is, right? We were a little off. I mean, you said this the other day. You're the asshole now because you were saying they were going to lose in 6 in the second round, and now they're not even going to make it out of the fucking first round. So
yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been paying attention to the series, it hasn't been great. I would say the first half of the series tilted towards the Bruins, and then the second half has just been a landslide to the Panthers. Like the last two games, Game 5 and Game 6, weren't even close, in my opinion. I know, well, obviously the score in Game 6 was not close. I think the score in Game 5 was a little closer, but it did not feel it.
I think you got that mixed up, but yeah.
Oh yeah, dead bet. One of the games they won like 7-4 or something. 7-5. Wasn't that Game 6?
Well, Game 6 was the other day, wasn't that? Yeah, it came down to like the last. That came down to the end, didn't it? I mean, I know I was drunk watching it at a bar, but it was a one-goal game until the bullshit empty netter.
Yeah, so that was a 7-5. That was a 7-5 game. So the game before that was 4-3.
Wasn't that overtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were both 4-3. I mean, they were both close.
It just didn't. That's what I mean. Like the score might have been close, but it didn't feel close. Like if you watched the game. But honestly, for the last 4 games, right? Because they lost. They won.
They lost Game 2.
Yeah, they lost Game 2 6-3. I was looking at the Florida side of the matchup, and it said lost 2-6 and 2-4. That means there were Bruins wins. Like I said, I was looking at the wrong side there. But yeah, I mean, they've lost 3 out of their last 5 in the series. Not great. So the one thing I will say, we get Swayman tonight. So
yeah. I mean, I don't really want to get too much into this because by the time this does come out, it's going to be in the past anyway. But
right, I
don't think the goalie makes a difference.
You're getting, so I just looked. Jones had sent us, shout out to Jones, the expected lineup for tonight. I guess these were the lines of practice today. You're getting the best possible you can get, right? So just real quick, you get Marchand, Bergeron, DeBrusk is your top line. Zacha, Krejci, Pasta is your second. Hall, Coyle, Bertuzzi. And then your fourth line is Frederick, Noshek, and Hathaway. So you're getting the best that you can. Right?
You had that last game too, and it just didn't work out. So
yeah, you get Grizz and McAvoy, Lindholm and Carlo, and then Forbert and Orlov with Swayman in net. So I guess we'll see, right? Let it be known. I have placed a wager on the Florida Panthers to win. I took their money line plus 195. So I went for the emo hedge. So we'll see. We'll see if my curse is strong enough. But
I've got Florida in the series, the game, and over 2.5 goals for tonight.
So we'll see, right? We'll see. We all need to start pounding Florida.
Well, no, I took Florida after Game 2. That Bruins performance was pathetic.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I go, if that's what they're gonna put forward, they're not winning the series. So I took Florida.
Yeah. I would say even in the Bruins wins, the only one that they've won like commandingly was game 4, right? When they won 6-2.
Yeah, I don't remember each game to be honest. Like I know game one really wasn't in doubt. People didn't like game one, but it was 3-1 and there was a bullshit. It was a fluky goal for Florida, so they really didn't even score their own goal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they look like shit,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
We'll see. They said the wagering is in, so we'll see who's the bigger jinx here. The Bruins or us.
I think two and a half goals for Florida is insulting.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, I will say, this is just hockey in general. That we don't have to keep harping on the Bruins. But the Eastern Conference may now we'll see, right? Because this is a cursed team also. But the Eastern Conference may have just opened up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So last night, Toronto won the series. They beat Tampa Bay in overtime, which I had Tampa in the series. I took Tampa in the series. I think I got them at plus 140. So obviously that lost. Toronto wins its first NHL series in like what, fucking 22 years or something like that.
2004.
Yeah. So 18 years. They look really good, right? Like they're a very, like you can't knock them, right? They're a very talented team. But they are the team that's been cursed, right? Like they are the Red Sox prior to 2004. Like dumb shit always goes against them. Like it's the curse, right? Whatever it is. Like they just couldn't get out of their own way. Well, they finally won a series last night. They finally have some confidence. And as it stands right now, the Bruins don't look hot, right? So here's this scenario. If Florida wins today, that means they have to go on to play Toronto. I think Toronto absolutely mops the floor with Florida. To right now, Toronto looks like what the Bruins should be doing. And they're playing tougher competition in Tampa Bay. Florida, like the people forget, right? The Florida Panthers barely made the fucking playoffs. And we have them in game 7, so we can't close. So I think Toronto pushes through Florida. And now on the other side of the bracket, you have Carolina. Yeah, they ended up beating the Islanders in the series, so they move on. But they lost 2 key players. They lost Teravainen, and they didn't lose Aho, but they lost someone else on one of their top lines. I forget who the second guy is, but they lost 2 key players on their team. To the point where a lot of people were taking the Islanders to come back and win the series. So you have an unhealthy Carolina, right? Who I think you and I both picked Carolina to win the Eastern Conference.
I took a future on them when sports betting opened up here.
Yeah, as did I.
That's because Ian. That's because Ian said too.
Right. Yeah. He was on there statistically. So now you have Carolina that's hurt, right? And you have New Jersey and the Rangers. So the Devils and the Rangers go into game 7, which I think is tomorrow, would be today if you're listening this or watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, like, rate, review, all that, whether you're watching or listening. But I don't think it matters, right? Whoever wins that, like say New Jersey wins, right? Because I think the Devils are a little bit more talented, but they're young, right? So they're young and they're inexperienced. So if the Devils win and go on to play Carolina, I don't know. That's a tough series. That like with Carolina missing those 2 top guys, Teravainen and whoever else, maybe it goes 6 or 7 games. Maybe it's a coin flip. Now you have Toronto that should blast through Florida. And I think Toronto can beat any of the 3 teams that are left on the other half of the bracket, right? I think Toronto could beat the Rangers, the Devils, and a subpar Carolina team. So all of a sudden, the stars are kind of aligning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup because they'll probably make it and then lose to like the fucking Dallas Stars or some bullshit. But talk about like the team that's been cursed forever. Things are looking up for them right now. If you're a Maple Leafs fan. Now that's easy for me to say, right? Because I Maple Leafs fans are more scorned than Bruins fans. So I can only imagine how we feel about the Bruins. You probably, 10x that, and that's probably how they feel about the Maple Leafs. But as an outsider, I think I like the Maple Leafs' chances, at least to win the Eastern Conference right now. And even if the Bruins do win today, I don't know if the Bruins keep playing the way they played against Florida, against Toronto. They ain't beating Toronto.
No, if they play the way they've been playing against Florida, they won't be Florida. So there's no issue there.
Exactly.
So
it's interesting. Like I said, it's easy for me to say as an outsider, but things are looking up for the Maple Leafs. And then honestly, I haven't been paying too much attention to the Western Conference. These games were on pretty late. I mean, I know Edmonton advanced.
I think
Vegas advanced. And then we're still waiting on Minnesota, Dallas, I think. And
Colorado, Winnipeg.
Colorado.
I think Colorado,
Seattle. That's tonight. Game 7 is tonight for them.
Wait, Colorado's playing Seattle?
Yeah. They're in Colorado tonight.
And
for game
so that
7.
means Vegas played the Jets?
Correct.
All right.
And Edmonton played LA. So, hockey. Playoff hockey. Gotta love it. All right, let's see. Oh, I got this other interesting stuff here. To switch away from sports and I guess jump over to politics for a little bit. Yeah, lame. I was listening to the Breaking Points podcast. Shout out to Crystal and Sagar. Recently, and I think this is super interesting. It kind of shows the state of where everyone's at. So I'm curious to get your take on it, although I feel like I know what you're going to say. So they talked about this study that was done by, I think it was NBC. So NBC, pretty left-leaning organization, right? It's not quite MSNBC, but NBC it's not Fox. It's definitely on the left. So they polled people all over the country about the presidential race in 2024. Of the people that they polled, I forget the exact number, how many people they polled, but I do know it was a nationwide poll. So I don't know, I would imagine it's probably around 100,000, right? Like maybe, I don't know. I could look it up, but we don't let facts get in the way here. So of whoever they polled, they asked, one of the questions was, do you want Joe Biden to run for re-election? Do you want to guess the split of yes to no's?
I'm going to say no was 70%.
Spot on. Like 100, like you nailed it, 70%.
I didn't even know this was a real thing either. So
so then how many people do you think said yes? I mean, not that it actually matters, but
what was there a third option?
Yeah, I would imagine so, because the numbers don't add up to 100.
So yes is probably 20.
Yeah, it was 26%.
So 4% were asked the question and didn't give a yes or no?
I guess so.
What the fuck is the other answer?
I don't know. They didn't say. They only provided yes and no statistics on Breaking Points, right? So the actual NBC poll might have showed all three responses. Maybe like the third response was like indifferent or like I don't care type of thing. But when Crystal and Saga reported on it, they said 70% of people polled across the country said they don't want Joe Biden to run for re-election. And only 26% of people said yes, they do want him to run.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucking hilarious.
especially
Now,
because the election isn't even for another like 18 months.
yeah,
So people already don't want him to run, and he
yeah.
still has 18 months as president.
He has a 41% approval rating. That means, like, again, this is just a poll of people. Like, do you approve of the president right now? Yes or no? 41% of people said yes. They approve of the job that he's doing right now. So pretty awesome there. But conversely, so a second question that they asked people was, do you want Donald Trump to run for president? You want to guess how many people said no? See if you go 2 for 2.
65.
Very close, actually. 60%. So 60% of people said no to Trump.
I'm just looking up his approval rating. So Trump's final approval rating was 34%,
Pretty sick.
as was George W. Bush's. Now
That's
those are again
great.
those are final, but
Right.
I don't imagine Biden's is going to get any better.
No, if he's at 41% right now.
I also got to think too. Yeah, that's something that diminishes over time. Like
Yeah,
as they get closer to being out, people are like sick of their shit.
yeah, basically. I think Biden's got pretty low last year when gas was like over $5 a gallon in some
Ugh.
places. I think his approval rating dipped down into the 30s. Like it might have been like 35%. Or it might have been lower because I feel like those like dumbass fucking Republicans were like, oh,
It's the lowest in
see,
history or
yeah,
something.
Biden's approval rating is lower than Trump's was. But I mean, obviously it's
Great.
come up since then. But like that's some fucking badge of honor, right? Like it matters. Like who cares? You're not gonna like you can't impeach a guy and get him out of office just because his approval rating is low. Like it doesn't fucking
Right.
matter. So um
I don't know,
yeah,
man. I mean, people around the country should not want this fucking sideshow again.
no, it's a fucking joke, right?
Like
Like
not for
like
nothing. Like this is the other thing too, is like if you just like if you just took like the names away from them,
yeah,
and let's just say you said, so President A did not win re-election, the year after or the election after his presidency. As the incumbent, he did not win re-election.
right.
If you ask the people of that country, oh, should they run again? No, why would they? They didn't win.
Yeah.
Like
I
why?
mean,
Like what? And
you
I know
could
like
go
Grover
even
Cle- Grover Cleveland did it, but as
yeah.
3 Year Letterman told us, this isn't Sesame Street. Um, but like if you vote for somebody, if someone does not win the election for like whatever you want to call it, then a term's going to go through and then the person's going to run again. It's like, why? They already lost.
Because they have a
Why would we
massive
do this
ego.
again? No, well, now
Same thing
again,
as
but
Hillary.
that's why you got to take that's why you have to take the name out of it.
Right.
And then
You
it's
could
like,
go
okay,
even further with it too, right? And like candidate A, right, was the president that did not win his reelection bid and also is I think 77 years old or something like that.
what's the other thing?
And
These guys are fucking old as hell.
has, you can get into like policy things like that, right? Like believes X, Y, and Z. And then you can go to like candidate B is 80 years old, may or may not have cognitive failure function, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but I didn't even really like. That's the thing is like I didn't even. I just wanted to stay way more superficial than that because I mean, if we look at who these characters are, like if we again just treat them as like attributes,
yeah,
the attributes don't make any fucking sense.
right.
To have this be the election again, it doesn't make any sense. But you know, it's the dumbest time to be alive, so this is what we're stuck with. But like again, if you just look at like, okay, so the previous guy did not win re-election. He ended with a 34% approval rating. Why the fuck would that person run again after 4 years? They didn't want them then. They're not going to want them now.
Right.
And then you take the current guy where he has any, again, whichever metric you want to use, either a 26 to 41% approval or desirability or whatever method you want, again, because he won't have a final until he's done and the election will be over. So, you know, polling, whatever. You don't want that guy. Like, you would not want that guy either. It's
Right.
like, no, man, you were in and people don't like you. You fucked up. Next.
Yeah.
Now it's up to him if he wants to run again. I guess the DNC theoretically could not put him up, but I don't know. I mean, like, why do we want to do this again?
I don't think, and that's the interesting part is I don't think the people do. Clearly, by this poll from NBC, the people don't want it. 70% said no to Biden and 60% said no to Trump. Yet that's what they're going to fucking give to us.
Well, and the other thing too is if the Republicans are smart, they'll somehow find a way to make sure it's not Trump getting the Republican nomination.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like there's too many fucking whack jobs.
Yeah. So the interesting part of, because there's more to this poll that they talked about. So when they compared, so one of the other questions was comparing candidates, right? So if they said, would you vote for Biden or Trump? These are all the same people, right? Of the same people that 70% of said no to Biden and 60% of said no to Trump. The other thing of that, of the 70 people that said no to Biden, 70% of them said no because of his age. So
Yeah.
that there you have it there. So
Yeah.
further
No, like
further down the
yeah, that's a massive factor. Again, when you start like actually looking at like what's going on, yes, the ages are an issue. The
right,
performance is an issue.
right.
Like the rallying cries behind fucking Trump, I think are an issue.
Yeah. So when you go further down in the polling questions, right? Then one of the other ones was, would you vote for Biden or Trump if that was the candidate that was the choice? 46% of those people said that they would vote for Biden, and only 40% said Trump. So even though neither one, like nobody wants either one, right? They both suck. 60+%, right, of all the people, because 60 for Trump and 70 for Biden. So 60+% of all people don't want both of them or either of them. But when that's the choice, 46% went to Biden because that's how much people fucking hate Trump. So, I mean, and if that's the case, Biden's probably going to win again.
If it's yeah, I mean, it will be the same result. It's not going to change if
No.
it's 1-for-1.
No. So then this is where it gets interesting. Then they paired up Biden versus a general GOP candidate, right? So they didn't say any names. Like,
Yeah.
would you vote for Biden or just anybody?
The RNC nomination.
Yeah. 47% said they would vote for the person who represents the GOP. So a nameless, faceless Republican would get 47% of people right off the bat if they were to run against Biden.
They can't run it. I mean, even for like my own sanity, because like again, I'm aware enough to know that the president of the country that can't really do much to affect my daily life.
Right.
But just for like my own sanity, it's like with everything being so fucking polarizing and like effectively nothing getting done, like the guy hasn't done a fucking thing.
No.
In how many years? 3?
Yeah,
2?
basically
2 and change.
2 and change. I actually saw a statistic the other day that he has given the least amount of press conferences of any president since, I think, Ronald Reagan.
That I
Who,
actually like.
if you remember, Ronald Reagan also was in mental decline by the end of his presidency as well.
That I'm okay with. I think we need less pressers from the fucking president. But anyway, that's just me. I think
Yeah.
I think all politicians need less fucking camera time.
Right. So, like, I guess it's a good thing, but the reasoning behind it might
Is
not be a
wrong.
good
Yeah,
thing.
no,
Yeah, yeah,
the reason
yeah.
for it's wrong.
Yeah, because they don't want him out there.
I like the result, not the process.
They're afraid that people, like, the more he's out
Yeah.
there, the more it'll be exposed that he's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that's
we should
fucked up
establish that precedent though.
is
Like,
so he is being primaried by people in the Democratic Party. So two people have already announced that they will run for president in the Democratic Party. And one of them is Marianne Williamson, who's kind of a whack job. I don't know much about her, but I just know people think she's kind of crazy. And the other one is RFK Jr. So I don't know how much you know about RFK Jr., but
I don't.
he spent basically the last 2 years in a crusade against Dr. Fauci and COVID.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
From that side too.
Yeah. So he actually, as a child, I believe,
Was his father in the plane crash? Is that
his dad is Bobby Kennedy. So his dad
so?
was
That's the thing,
assassinated.
though. I don't know all the names.
So JFK Jr. died in a plane crash.
JFK Jr. died in a plane crash. So okay, so RFK was named. He had a stadium named after him.
Yeah, that's Bobby Kennedy. He was the Attorney
Okay.
General of the United States under JFK, and he was
assassinated too.
He was assassinated. Yeah.
Did Bush's father do that one too?
Probably. So yeah, he was actually assassinated right around the time of MLK. I think they were like a couple months apart. They were both assassinated.
Wasn't that also very close to when
it was like 68? So Kennedy was 63. Well, JFK was 63. The other, Bobby Kennedy, I think, was 68. And I think MLK was 68 also, or 69, something like that. I know they were both.
I want to say it was 69.
Nice. It's pretty close. I know they were pretty close. In like assassination ages.
June 1968.
Yep. So this is his kid. And then so as a child, he had a vaccine injury. So like he got vaccinated for like something, right? Like I don't fucking know what it was. Call it like, I don't know, hepatitis or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And it actually fucked up his vocal cords. So his voice kind of sounds fucked up, because it is, but he has been like a lifelong crusader against vaccines because, again, he was injured by one as a child. So when the whole COVID thing came on, he was super against the vaccine, right, and all that stuff. And he actually wrote a book that came out like last year, I think, that's called The Real Anthony Fauci. And it's like a deep dive into how much of a piece of shit that Fauci really is. It goes all the way back to like the 80s with the AZT stuff. Fauci was the one that kind of was pushing AZT on everyone. If you're not familiar, it was the drug that they used, or they tried to use, during the AIDS epidemic when it first became a thing. They thought it would help people, but it ended up killing like millions of people. And Fauci was behind that as well. So all kinds of other shit too, right? So this dude literally wrote a book about how much Fauci sucks, and he's running for president on the Democratic Party. So because of this, right, because Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. have both announced they're running, the DNC came out like literally last week and said that they will not hold presidential debates on the Democratic side. So there you go. They're just, again, they don't want this.
They're just
They don't want him to
not.
talk. They're trying to keep this guy in under so much bubble wrap that it's insane.
Are Democrats like cool with that?
I don't know, probably because anyone that follows politics are like in lockstep with each other. It's like North Korea on both sides. Like if you're a hardcore Democrat or a hardcore Republican, you're like, they're one and the same. You're both North Korea. Like whatever your fucking, whatever your leader says is, oh, that's what happens. Like Joe Biden doesn't poop. Oh, he doesn't poop. Oh, Donald Trump smells like roses. Oh, well, he smells like roses. Obviously, why would they lie? Like both people on both sides are fucking stupid, right?
So, generally speaking, the Democrats aren't questioning that decision to not have debates in your primaries.
Yeah, no, they're totally. I would imagine they're totally fine with it because everyone's brainwashed.
No one sees that as like a red flag.
Why would they? What do you mean? Why is that a red flag?
Maybe I'm missing something.
If you're just listening to this and you're not watching the YouTube video, you're missing some amazing facial expressions by Bob.
It's a lot of blank staring. I'm just like trying to wrap in my head. I'm just trying to wrap around like why is this a good thing? Like if you are a Democrat, wouldn't you want the best candidate to go to the election?
You would think, right?
Wouldn't part of that be the debates?
You're making a lot of sense here. You got to be careful.
I don't get it. Oh, so I was way off. Kennedy died in 63. JFK was shot in 63.
Yeah.
Which is why the $50 came out in 64 with his face on it.
Yeah.
RFK has 11 kids.
Holy shit.
And then RFK Jr. has like 6 or 8 or something. It's fucking crazy.
He's actually married
they're
to
like fucking bunnies.
The wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David.
Okay.
The woman who plays Larry David's wife in Curb is actually RFK Jr.'s wife.
I think it's like his third wife. So that's probably why he has so many kids.
Yeah, I would say so too, probably. But yeah, I mean, you would think too, right? Like from the Democratic side, you have another Kennedy. You have a viable Kennedy, right? Like so what's the thing here too, right? Is typically your Republicans are older people, right? Like they cater to like the old white people, right? And your Democrats are younger, the fucking hipster, fucking Seattle, New York City people, right? That's typically kind of
the ideas or what the philosophies are geared towards, right? Because ultimately they're all just old white people in Congress.
Yes, basically. So you would think though, like if I was a strategist for the DNC, I would definitely be raising my hand and being like, hey, listen, young people, minorities, right? Like whether it's Black, Hispanic, whatever, we're good, right? We're locked up. Like we're not going to lose any of them to the Republicans. Like we don't, whatever, which isn't really the case because we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but there's a lot more Hispanics that are voting Republican than Democrat recently.
Well, I think a lot of the minorities, they haven't been thrilled about the way it's gone.
Right. But I'm saying like general overarching, right? If I'm in the position where I work in the DNC, I'm raising my hand. I'm saying, hey, traditionally we have these people locked up. Who we don't have locked up is the old white people, old white suburbia, right? What better way to win over the older white suburban people than run a Kennedy, right? Like everything that's going on right now is nostalgia, right? Like they remake all the Disney movies into live actions. They like every time you turn around, they're doing a remake of a movie that came out somewhere between like 72 and 95. Right? Like all of these movies that are coming out now that are being successful are remakes. They're trying to pull on the nostalgia, right? Like they're redoing Harry Potter, and that's not even like that came out in the early 2000s. Like everything that they're doing right now in Hollywood, I'll say at least, is to pull on nostalgia. How, like, again, if you're the Democratic Party and you're trying to win over old white suburbia, how do you not trot a Kennedy out there? So people be like, yeah, yeah, he's a Kennedy. Obviously, yeah, I'll vote for that guy. Especially,
An anti-vaccine Kennedy.
well, yeah, which could be a little bit of a identity crisis for them, but especially if the opponent is Trump, right? Like if you have an old white person who is quasi conservative, right? Say they're, I don't know, what do they like? Call them 68 years old, right? Like somewhere between 60 and 70. Back in, how old would they have been
It only would have been
back in
like
the day?
8.
8. So call it a
So
little older.
because
So someone in
Kennedy
their 70s, right?
Kennedy was shot 60 years ago.
Okay. So call it, someone in their 70s that's like maybe in an intermediate, maybe a moderate, right? Maybe a moderate Republican, maybe a moderate Democrat, whatever. If their choice is between Donald Trump, who they most likely probably don't like, or a Kennedy, they're probably going to be like, fuck it, I'll vote for the Kennedy. They're like,
I think that would be a landslide because I think with the current the current climate feels like, it feels like the Republicans are less set on their side. I don't know if you get that feeling.
It
Like,
is. They don't want Trump,
the
but they're terrified of him. Like they
well,
don't want him to be their candidate, but they're terrified of picking anybody else because he's so vicious. He will shred whoever that is.
well, I wasn't thinking like politically. I was just thinking like take a random person in fucking Iowa or something.
Yeah.
And if they're sitting there, like, hey, they're like, hey, I lean Republican, but like maybe they're using their brain. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone uses this. And it's like, you know what though? I'm sick of fucking Trump. Sick of him. I'm sick of hearing about him. And it's like, oh, you're sending a Kennedy out here, and he's like an anti-vaccine guy, and like they're like, you're probably more likely to sway that Republican away from voting for his party than you are to get a Democrat
Right.
to swing away from the Democratic Party. It feels like there's a lot more
There's a lot more sway on the Republican
or it's
side.
just like it seems like a lot of like Democratic people are just like way stronger in like being a Democrat.
Yeah,
It just
like their heels
that.
are more dug in.
Yeah, it seems
Right.
that way right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that'll change. I'm not really sure, but that's what it seems like.
Like they could run Marianne Williamson and the Democrats would still vote for her just because she's a Democrat.
Correct. I think that's more likely to happen.
But if like the Republicans, like for whatever reason, tossed out like say Pete Buttigieg, right? Say he switched parties or something, you know what I mean? Republicans wouldn't vote for him,
right?
Like that's I know what you're saying. I just don't like. I don't know the best way to describe it. I think there's more like political leeway.
Well, I think
on the Republican side,
I think it's just because I think a lot of people are fed up with 45.
Yeah.
So if you trot DeSantis out there, they're less likely to leave their party.
Right.
But if you do trot Trump out there, you're more likely to get some people to vote the other side.
Yes.
Now, you're less likely if you have extreme. You're not getting anybody to fucking leave their team.
Right.
But if you get something that's like my side's extreme and the other side actually seems somewhat reasonable, like, yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a shot with this dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think to benefit the country, right? Now, which no one gives a shit about, right? No, the powers that be don't give a shit.
No, because it's only about themselves.
Yeah. But to benefit the country, I think the best probable matchup of the situation that we have right now would be DeSantis and RFK Jr. The real best matchup would be DeSantis and Tulsi, in my opinion. But Tulsi's not going to run, especially not for the Democratic Party. So I think DeSantis and against RFK Jr. would be, again, the best matchup for the future of the country.
You're also I'm starting to just, a little bit, I'm starting to see people trying to tear DeSantis down now.
because of Trump.
Well, I think they're
Trump's going after him.
well, I think yeah, so maybe it's coming from within, but I think it was some fucking like New York lawyer or some shit. But
So that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I said that the GOP doesn't want to nominate Trump, but they're afraid of him. Because if they nominate DeSantis, then Trump would probably just run as an independent and he would eviscerate DeSantis on all levels, right? Like, so they know that if they don't pick Trump, their candidate is probably going to fucking lose.
Yeah, well, yeah, because then the party gets too fractured.
Right. But then
And
also whoever they do pick gets absolutely eviscerated. Like Trump's a good fucking, like, say all the things you want. He's a fucking loser, right? But he's great at PR and marketing, and he's really good at roasting people. He's fantastic at roasting people.
He can definitely talk. That's
yeah.
I don't think anyone can
No one can deny him that.
No one can deny that. Yeah, but I think it was like, I think it was some lawyer was just like basically like the lawsuit, like not lawsuits or like suits or legislation, whatever. I guess DeSantis has just like lost fucking all of them.
Interesting.
Like within Florida. I don't know.
Well, that's the state of the country.
Great. It's awesome.
Fantastic. And the best news is, like you said, we got 18 more months of it.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Fuck, it is so fucking sickening.
Yeah.
And I think we are getting it. Like, we'll just wrap it on this. I think we're gonna get 18 months of a whole lot of nothing and a whole lot more stupidity.
Oh, 1,000%.
Because now people are starting to phone it in. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Speaking of phoning it in, actually, and to take I guess a baby step out of politics, but this more in like the media side. Like big media might be on its way out. Like it might be dying. So we know for a while now, right? CNN absolutely sucks. Like their ratings are in the fucking toilet. Like their ratings are quite literally the lowest they've ever been in the history of CNN. Even GNN ratings would probably beat the CNN ratings. And that's Anchorman 2 reference for anyone out there that's like, what the fuck? So they just fired, not that it matters because this guy is fucking hated, but CNN just fired Don Lemon, who was a pretty highly paid dude at their office, right? So they took him off of whatever primetime show he was on because he sucked and people hated him. And they put him on the morning show because they had to keep paying the guy, right? But I guess he kind of stuck his foot in his mouth enough times where they finally were just like, no, you're fired. So they fired him. Don Lemon, gone, out of CNN. So now probably their highest paid anchor is gone and their ratings still fucking suck. On the other side, Fox News just fired Tucker Carlson, who is was the most successful news anchor on TV. He was averaging, I think, 30 million viewers a night on his primetime show, which was like far and away the number one news show in the country. Like CNN may have only gotten like 6 million a night, and if that, maybe, and Tucker was doing 30 million a night. They fired him. It's still kind of cloudy as to why. He gave a speech like the weekend before he got fired where he was kind of like poo-pooing on both Democrats and Republicans. He's been though I think the reason why he's so popular is because he's a moderate Republican, moderate conservative. I don't know if I would even say Republican, because again, he's shat, if you will, on Republicans multiple times on his show. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. And
someone's got to pay for that lawsuit.
Yeah. So Fox fired him. And then also Dan Bongino, who's kind of a fucking putz. He's like more of like an extreme right wing dude. He was on Fox News. I think he had a pretty big show. Not obviously not even near Tucker, but he left. I don't know if he quit or got fired, but he's gone. So now you have like all these major names that are leaving these cable news networks, and now all of their ratings are super low, right? Like what are they going to do? They like, again, Fox News was the only one that was successful with Tucker Carlson, 30 million viewers a night. And now he's gone. The best CNN could do is 5 or 6 million. And now they don't have anybody. So it's like, I don't know. I think the major news corporations and medias might be on their way out.
You're going to get to a point where what they've traditionally done won't work anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is Subway goes, Tucker Carlson is probably going to start a podcast. It'll probably be like, I don't know, top 5 in the country.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he can beat out Rogan. He might be able to.
Yeah, I'm probably not, just because of Rogan's vast difference in people that he has on his show.
True.
Right? Like,
yeah,
Tucker
like,
is
like I would never
guy.
I would never listen to Tucker Carlson because I do not care that much about politics.
Right. But Rogan might have someone on his show that you'd be interested in.
Yeah, I listened to. You told me to listen to someone. I forget what the fuck he talked about. I think he did like the pharmaceutical stuff and the insurance stuff.
Brigham something or other. His first name is Brigham. I almost called him Brigham Young, but that's the college.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Brigham something is his name.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, for me to, that took a flight, like, for me to even listen to that.
Brigham Bueller. That's who it was.
And the only reason I even listened to that was because my TV was broken on the flight. So.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. I'm more likely to listen to Joe Rogan than I am Tucker Carlson, because there's a 0% chance I would ever listen to him.
Right.
But there's a 1% chance. Well, actually, it might even be less, because how many podcasts has he put out?
Probably like 1,500.
And I've listened to one. What's that percentage?
I don't know. Let's find out real quick. One. That's oh wow, that's a small number.
What is it?
It's 3 zeros. It's 0.0007.
So it's a 0.03% chance.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a fraction of a percent. It's 1/10. It's 0.7% of a chance.
But it's more than 0.
There's a chance.
What's all that 1 in 1,500 talk?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, media is dying. It's not kind of dying. It is. And I think podcasts are a big reason why. Even like the big guys that are out there in the media, like Bill Maher, like he has his own podcast on the side, right? So he does his TV show, and then he has his own podcast. So it's like these people are starting to do their podcasts because there's more to it, right? Like you can actually learn who the person is. We've talked about this before. It's like it's why podcasts are so successful, because if you listen to enough of them, you get to know the person, right? Like I've been listening to Rogan, I don't even know, probably since 2015 ish. So what is that? 8 years? Like I feel like I know Joe Rogan. I've never fucking met the guy, but like I have a pretty good idea of who he is and how he feels on certain things, because I've been listening to him talk, anywhere from 3 to 12 hours a week for 8 years. So, same thing goes here. Like, I'm sure there's people that have listened to our podcast, maybe from the beginning, maybe somewhere along the way. But if they've listened to us talk for hundreds of hours, right, they feel like they know us. We've never met them, but they know us, right? So it's people like that. Obviously, obviously, because that's why podcasts are so successful. And you don't have the bullshit producers and all the behind the scenes stuff and the sponsors to, the commercials that, you say something wrong and all of a sudden Colgate pulls their $15 million contract to run commercials on your program. And then your boss is like, what the fuck? You just cost us $15 million from this toothpaste company, right? So you're not really beholden to that when you're on a podcast, because you basically, for the most part, you can choose your own sponsors, and they know what they're getting going in. And there's enough of them out there where you can just do whatever the fuck you want, right? Like, so you have, I don't know, Crest as a sponsor on your podcast, and they don't like you and they pull their sponsorship. Okay, fuck you. I'll just go to Athletic Greens or stamps.com, like, or grill your ass off, right? Like, there are so many out there. So you're not beholden to those like corporate standards that are in traditional media. So I think you're right that, you can't keep doing the things the way that they've been doing them forever, because
Doesn't work.
people will catch on, and people, or maybe it's not even that people will catch on. People just prefer the other way. They prefer the alternative.
Well, if you like, the other thing too is it's like if you really want to hear what someone or something has to say, like podcasts are just more convenient.
Yeah. You can
'Cause
listen to them
I can
whenever
listen
you
to it
want.
whenever I want. Whereas like, no, I know you can fucking record everything, but like I'm not gonna record the news. I mean, like I don't watch the news, so I guess it's a bad example, but like if there was a TV show, that would be a shitty TV show. I was just thinking of like the Chasing Scratch guys because I like their podcast. I'm like, if that was a TV show, that would be fucking terrible. But yeah, I mean, it all becomes like on demand. It all becomes like for my convenience because like,
Right.
God forbid, there's something I really enjoy, but it's 5 o'clock. It's like I'm never at a TV at 5 o'clock. It's not
Right.
possible. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck them. That's what I say.
TV is gonna be pretty much exclusively for live sports pretty soon.
Basically. And streaming.
And my
Like,
mother can watch the Hallmark Channel. She likes
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, live TV, other than like local news and sports, is just going to go away.
News is so fucking annoying to hear too.
Yeah. So
I'd rather not.
so there we have it. Want to start wrapping this up?
We can wrap this up.
All right.
All right.
Please.
So I have been to the Cape the last 2 weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I had a golf tournament last Friday. And we went and stayed at Ocean Edge this past weekend.
Is that the venue?
No, that's not the the venue's gonna be Witchmere. Ocean Edge is just a resort in Brewster.
Oh, cool. You just went just to have fun.
We just went to go.
Yeah.
And if the weather was gonna cooperate, I was gonna try to play golf because they have a course that's private or resort guests only. The weather was intended to be terrible the whole time, and then the weather was fine. So, but it was too late at that point. Whatever.
Yeah, obviously.
But moral of the story, Sagamore Bridge. Now, this is obviously very specific to being from around here, but the Sagamore Bridge is one of two ways to get over to the Cape.
Right.
Via car. Sagamore Bridge or the Bourne Bridge. Now, I haven't been over the Bourne Bridge because I haven't been going that way. They're both under construction until Memorial Day.
Good.
They're one lane either way on both.
Good.
Now, obviously, that's pretty shitty.
Now, is it one way at a time on both, or is it like you can only get off on the Sagamore and only get on the Bourne?
So it's both direction traffic, but one lane
each. Okay.
On each bridge.
Okay. Which, again, for anyone that's not from around here, Those lanes are really fucking small to begin with.
Yeah,
It's tight.
it is.
It's tight.
So obviously, they're going to try to get it done before Memorial Day because if they try to do it during Memorial Day, the Cape would be nearly impossible to go to. Right. I would actually consider flying if that was the case.
Take we could take the little puddle jumper from Mansfield.
Oh yeah, you can. We could PJ it.
Yeah.
I was thinking flying fucking Boston to Hyannis. Yeah, we could go from Mansfield. What was a PJ, like $2,500 to go to Hyannis?
I think from Mansfield to Hyannis was like 2,500 because Mansfield to the Vineyard was like 32.
Yeah, and you can put 8 people.
I think up to 8. Yeah,
and that was one way.
Was it?
I don't know if that was round trip.
Yeah, I truthfully don't know. It might have been round trip. I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise. I mean, that's like $400 a person.
Yeah.
I guess that's okay for round trip. It's like a fucking 28-minute flight.
Yeah, it's not long. Even in a propeller plane, like it's not long.
Yeah, I don't even know how long. Like, I don't even know like how long that flight would take.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so this is a disaster, right? But to make it even worse, coming away from the Cape at the bottom of the Sagamore Bridge. So before you cross the bridge, leaving the Cape, they put in a fucking traffic light.
Oh, God.
So now all the traffic on 6 and all the traffic coming from the side by the Christmas tree shop.
Yep.
Both of them have a light now.
Oh, God.
It is a fucking horror show. Now I think it has to be a light because a lot of people do go that way. Because when I left Chatham, there was an accident on 6. So not only is it one lane and it's fucking stop bumper to bumper traffic, there was a fucking accident.
Yeah.
So to save 45 minutes, I got off of 6, drove around, and still sat in an hour's worth of traffic.
Nice.
And it's because of, and it's just too many people in this light and the construction. Yeah. It's a fucking disaster.
Are they widening the bridges? What are they doing?
They're just redoing them, I think.
Yeah.
Or not like, they're not like rebuilding them. I think they're just like fixing them.
Yeah.
But they fucking did work on them like 2 years ago too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, dude, those things are like, I was actually thinking this on the way down. I'm like, I don't know how you fix this, but like, I would just like start building new roads or something. Like, you got to do like,
yeah,
this is not working. There are too many people that go down here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those bridges can even like really support the traffic that they now get.
Right.
Because I want to say it was either 2 years ago or it was like 4 years ago. They were doing bridge work and it was like the same thing. It's like, we're going to work 24/7 until Memorial Day and then it'll be done by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So it was either right after the pandemic or right before the pandemic. I don't remember which one.
Yeah. How do you not just build new bridges?
I don't know if you like, I don't know how so listen, I'm no bridge builder here. So I don't know like what that process entails. Like, could you just build like outside of the current bridge and make it like,
I think again, I'm no bridge builder either, nor am I a civil engineer. But I think what they typically do when they build a new bridge is they just build a brand new one literally right next to it. And then they just like build a new road to connect it. And then they just demo the old bridge. So like they just like shift it to the side basically.
But the only problem is I don't know if a new bridge fixes anything. You can make it wider, sure.
Well, that's what I mean. Like if you have like what would be a 6-lane bridge, right?
Oh, no. So I was thinking like if you just widen out the lane, so it's still 2, but like, so that my only problem is, so if it's six lanes, so 3 and 3,
yeah,
3 becomes 2 anyway, because Route 6 is only so wide,
right?
So that's what I mean. It's like we need new highways or something, or tunnels or so. We need something.
We need Elon Musk.
I need a tunnel that goes all the way from fucking Plymouth to fucking Provincetown or something.
Where's the boring company?
Oh God.
They're doing it in LA.
I think was it I don't know where, somewhere in Scandinavia. They literally have a tunnel that goes under the ocean.
Yeah, we do too.
Super long. No, but like really,
It
like
goes
under
under
the
the Boston Harbor,
yeah, okay. So I mean
like
like
the ocean.
under the open ocean,
Yeah, yeah.
not
I
just
mean,
like a part of
either way, if
where
something
the
happened in
ocean.
either of those tunnels, you're fucked. Like you're not getting out.
I mean, the Scandinavians figured it out.
Yeah,
They don't seem worried about it.
no,
And what's going to happen?
just
An
flood,
accident
just a little
or
water.
flood? Whatever.
Yeah.
Just build them good.
Don't use the guys from the Big Dig.
Yeah. Just get the Scandinavians
Yeah.
or the Amish, one or the other.
Yeah. The Amish would get that shit
They're good
done.
workers.
Yeah. I mean, everything would be made out of like hay and fucking dirt, but I mean, it would be good.
I think they can use modern materials. There's something weird, like like it's not like don't let the Amish fool you. They're not just like hand nailing everything in. And
They use
like
power tools. Fucking liars.
I so don't I'd have to
I
get
mean,
the
they
specific.
have to, right? Like they
Okay,
have to
so I
use
know
power tools.
so I know someone. He runs a business in Easton and he hired the Amish to build a new building because he only had like a very very small building for what he did. So he hired the Amish to build a bigger building.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, but I didn't talk to the father. I only talked to the kid. I go, dude, I have so many questions. He goes, yeah, he hired the Amish to do it. I go,
If
what do you
where
mean? I go,
like
what
a
do you mean
real
he
Amish
hired
from
the
like
Amish?
Pennsylvania?
He goes, I don't know, dude. He went to Pennsylvania and hired the Amish.
How do they get here?
Like,
Do they come
I
here on
go,
horse and buggy?
that's what I said. I go, how'd they get here? He goes, dude, yeah, like I don't. I'm like, dude. I go, you gotta go ask your father. I'm gonna give you a list of questions. I go, I'm so fucking curious as to how this happened.
Yeah.
Like, how did the Amish get here? What? First of all, why did they like? How did he come up with this idea? Like, like, like that would be like you if you like for your patio thing, you'd be like, you know what? I don't feel like doing it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna reach out to the Amish. Like
Yeah.
they'll come build my patio. And
I
it's like,
wonder if they're allowed to use trains because trains have been around for so long. You know what I mean?
well, I also think that we've got a little bit of some modern day stuff going, right? Because Amish isn't a religion, is it?
I don't know.
It's like a culture or a lifestyle, yeah.
Yeah. But I think religion is tied into it.
But I don't think
Are they
Amish
Quakers? Is the Amish religion? What is the Amish religion?
Anabaptist
Okay.
Christian church, but
Anabaptism.
and they're closely related, like Mennonites. So it's like
Ah, the Mennonites.
so the other thing, so the other thing. I don't know that they were actually officially, really and truly Amish people, right? Because
Right.
again, I'm getting this secondhand.
Yeah. If it came from the kid, oh my God.
No.
Imagine
Like
he
so,
hired Hasidic Jews and he thought they were Amish just because they look like
yeah.
that.
But I think like you wouldn't hire Hasidic Jews to build a building for you, would you?
I mean, why not?
Do they do that?
I don't know. Jews are good at everything. That's why they
I
fucking
mean,
are
they
the
have a
most
repu.
hated religion because everything they do, they're just good at, except for sports. But but like most everything they do, they end up being pretty fucking good at it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna stereotype though, when I think Jewish, I usually think of like legal professional services or delis.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, some ridiculous number, like 65% of the last like or of like all time of Nobel Prize winners are Jewish.
Yeah, but I think wouldn't you then assume that they're probably smart enough not to do manual labor?
I mean, they could be engineers.
Right, but they're not the ones fucking banging the nails in.
Hey, you got to work your way up.
I think they would be smart enough to hire other people to do it. If we're giving them that much credit. Anyway, not important. The Amish came and built the building. And I guess it went up extremely fast. So they're not sitting there and hand sawing fucking 2x4s.
Right.
So at some point, I wonder if the Amish or
Oh,
whoever this group was, that, you have like strict Orthodox types. Like actually, so like the Hasidic, they're the Hasidic Jews.
right.
They're very traditional, very Orthodox, like follow the rules to a point. And then there are other Jewish people that maybe still attend temple, but they eat pork. Like,
Yeah.
so
They enjoy bacon.
yeah. So that's what I mean is like, because within these like groups of people, yeah, is like, did he go down and find like the most traditional of all? No, because they would never come up here. Because
Yeah.
if it's got to be horse and buggy and it's got to be hand tools, like,
So
no,
I
they
did
can't build. They can't build a building up
I
here.
did just get your answer.
What you got?
Um, there are two separate groups. So the Amish are the traditional Amish, like what you think of horse and buggy.
Okay.
The Mennonites are Amish people that are like the Jews that eat bacon.
Okay.
So Mennonites are technically Amish, but it says here they do not abstain from using motor cars or some like new culture.
Like
Things.
I would like to think that. Okay, so Amish are like the hard and fast rules. So we'll just call them Mennonites. That's is what came up here to
Yeah.
build the building. I wouldn't be surprised if a Mennonite looks at it and goes, "Listen, if I use a nail gun, that's still me doing the manual labor. I'm the one nailing it. But
Right.
yes, it is fucking 2023, so I'm gonna fucking use a nail gun. I'm not hammering this fucking thing in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there are some people that still do it. There's like roofers and siders that still fucking hammer them all in.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Like they definitely I know for a fact that some people hire illegal labor and they still do it all by hand. They go, the work will never fall apart. It's just you got to be morally flexible to where it's coming from. Which I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the work gets done, I
Pick
don't
them
give
up
a
in
shit.
Somerville. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Somerville, Home
I'll
Depot.
pay you, right? Like that's what they're here for. They want to work.
Yeah.
Like if you want to work and you want to get the job done, I'll pay you.
Yeah.
And like, so
Now, luckily, I don't need this because I don't have any jobs to do. But whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get the Mennonites because we'll rephrase. Let's
Yeah.
get the Mennonites to build a let's get no, actually, don't even tell them what to do. Have them fix the Cape issue.
Yeah. Just explain it to them and be like, this is our problem. Can you fix it? And just let them go.
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. I like that. So actually, my final thought is going to be sort of in a weird way tied into what you just talked about. For the Cape Cod
Mennonites and
Bridge.
the Amish.
No, the Cape Cod Bridge.
I was gonna say, there's no, because that wasn't even my final thought. There's
Yeah.
no way
Yeah.
that you were thinking Amish people and I came up with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So last Thursday, I went to an awards dinner banquet thing for this like real estate group that I belong to through work, right? Like I just joined it. It's a thing where like I have to go to 2 networking events a quarter, and it just pisses me off every time I go, and they're whatever, because I hate people and I gotta go talk to people. But whatever. I do it. My work pays for it, so I just go. So last Thursday was the like annual award ceremony. So my buddy Neil, that lives on the Cape, drove here and we drove in together. So he left his car here and I drove us in. He actually, this is just an aside, this has nothing to do with the real story, but he was like an hour and a half late getting to my house because of the Cape Cod Bridge. He lives in Mashpee, and
No way out.
he tried to get over the Sagamore Bridge. He told me the story. He was like, he tried to get over the Sagamore Bridge, sat there for 45 minutes, turned around, drove all the way down, went over the Bourne Bridge, and then came that way. So, yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So, like I said, he was supposed to be at my house by like 3. He got there by like 4:30 and we left. So then we go into Boston, which is a
Sick.
fucking
That's a good.
disaster.
That's good.
The event was at like the Westin, which is attached to the Seaport Convention Center. So, driving a Toyota Tacoma around Seaport was fun, trying to find somewhere to park it too, in the garage and all that bullshit, but whatever. So we get there and it's the dumbest fucking thing ever. And I bitch every single time I have to go to one of these networking things. But like, I told Amy this when she was like, "Oh, how was it?" It's like, you would think we were at the fucking Oscars. Like someone won like volunteer of the year award and they get up and they fucking pull a piece of paper out of their pocket, unfold it and start reading a speech. And they're like, "I want to thank my family. I want to thank everyone involved. This means a lot. I want to thank this." Like they gave like a 2-minute fucking award speech. Everyone that won an award gave a speech. Right. And then the one person that won, like, whatever, I forget what it's called. It's like the president. It's named after a former president of the organization. It's like the president, whoever, Hubuwatsi award. And it's like this person had like a 3-page speech when they won the award. It's like, you guys realize that like this is like a corporate real estate group, right? Like this isn't the Academy Awards. It's not like the presidential fucking dinner. It's like this, it's the New England chapter of this corporate real estate group.
I don't think you get it, man.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what? One day you'll win an award and you'll give a speech and then you'll get it.
It's just wild. Like it's, and all of them were the same, right? I want to thank my family. I want to thank this person. I want to thank that.
No one has a speech that's any different.
Yeah. They tell the story of how when they first joined the organization, they didn't know what they were doing, and it's the best thing they ever done. And I'm so grateful for everyone I've met along the way. And all it's just fucking bullshit after bullshit. Like it bullshit. My name's Aldous Snow. Like that's basically what they were saying. And then the other thing too, right? So like me and my buddy Neil were just like shit talking it the whole time because it's hilarious because he's just like us.
Oof.
Yeah.
Tough break, Neil.
Yeah. So at one point, and so again, I definitely don't belong there, right? Like I think it's very clear, like I don't belong there, but I'm there, whatever. My boss's boss was there. We were there on an invitation of one of our clients. So it wasn't even like my company that was there. Like me and my boss's boss got invited by one of our clients. And obviously it's a client that I work with. So they invited us. So we sat at this table with a bunch of people, right? And again, it's corporate real estate. They all work for like finance companies, banks, all this stuff. They start talking and like one of the dudes at the table goes like, "Oh, so like, what's the best trip you've ever been on?" And like one person, the first person goes and is like, "I took this amazing trip to Paris. We did a week in Paris and a week in Nice in France." And they like go on and on about how this is like incredible, whatever. And the next person goes like, "I had an amazing ski trip to the Swiss Alps." And I'm sitting there like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I'm a fucking loser. Like literally, again, if you needed any more reason as to why I don't belong here, like you people are talking about, like one person was like, "Oh, I did an African safari." I'm like, who are you people? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'm sitting at a table of 8 people.
Did they go to you?
Yeah. I said
Did you
Hawaii.
say New Orleans?
And it was after my buddy Neil, and he said, he was like, "Oh, I lived in Hawaii for 5 years. So that was pretty cool." And then I was next because I was sitting next to him. And I was like, "Yeah, same for me. I did 2 weeks in Hawaii. That was pretty cool." And then everyone was like, "Oh, cool. Like, what islands did you go to?" And I was like, "We were in Maui basically the whole time." They're like, "All right." And then I like went to the next person. And I was like, "Yeah, I have nothing to add to this. An African safari, Nice and Paris, France, the Swiss Alps for a ski trip. And I'm like, where
I
the
would have,
fuck am I?
if I was there. Well, so luckily for me, I don't have an answer that even compares
Yeah.
to that. So I wouldn't even been able to say Hawaii.
Yeah.
Or like you could even turn around and be like, hey, like, listen, I am not the world's biggest traveler. Like one time I went to San Diego, I really enjoyed that. The weather's awesome. Like next.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, you're right, it is. My options would include going to a Patriots game in New Orleans, going to a bachelor party in New Orleans, going to a Patriots game in Nashville, going to a bachelor party in Nashville, going to a bachelor party in Austin, going to a bachelor party in Saratoga, um, Patriots game in Baltimore. We went to Savannah.
Yep. Charlotte.
We went to Charlotte, Patriots game in Charlotte. I went on the trip to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I won't even call it Charleston because I was in there for fucking 2.5 hours. I went to Canada when I was 10 for a hockey tournament. I went to Lake Placid when I was 11 for a hockey tournament. My mother and I went on a cruise. It stopped in Cozumel in the Grand Cayman Islands. Those are all my trips.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yep.
Like, I literally would have just because I'm an asshole. Well, not only that, I actually believe this. New Orleans is my favorite place. So I'd be like, yeah, like you guys will probably think this one's funny. I go, New Orleans is my favorite place in the world. I go, it's dirty, it's gross, it's disgusting, it's fucking dangerous, and it's awesome. It's the best.
Yeah.
And I would take it over any of the places you fucking went to.
Take the Swiss Alps and shove it up
fuck
your
that.
ass.
I don't want to.
New Orleans.
Yeah. Fuck that. I don't want to go to fucking France. Like seriously, fuck France.
Yeah.
That's like one of the least. I view that as one of the least desirable European countries that I could go to.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because the only advantage is that it like makes you an insufferable douchebag when you come back.
Yeah. Well, that's what they were doing. Like the person that said so one person was like, oh, I did Nice and Paris. And then like two other people at the table obviously had been to fucking France. And then they have like a 20-minute conversation about how awesome France is and the wine and it's fresh when you get it there and this and that. And I'm sitting there like, dude, what the fuck? Like literally the whole time.
Wine ain't fresh. It's fucking aged.
This conversation went on for like 45 minutes just at the table of like,
oh, well, the cheese you get in France, you can't get that cheese here.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then when they got to me, it was literally about 45 seconds. Yeah, I did 2 weeks in Hawaii.
The one I would respect, though, I would respect skiing in the Swiss Alps, because that is an experience that you kind of really can't get.
Right.
Now, outside of like, so Paris, obviously, like Eiffel Tower, like that's a feature. Like, yeah, okay, you can't get that anywhere else because there's only fucking one of them, right?
Right.
But either way, it's like, all right, there it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll eat at a cafe with it in the background. Like,
yeah. Hey, or I can go to New Orleans and it's like being in France. There you go.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's basically they're French in New Orleans.
No Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. Well, not that kind of Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, I'm like, but it'd be like it's like playing in golf in Scotland versus playing in golf like around here. Like it's just different, like something that's unique to the region. So it's like, at least I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But like, oh God, people make it seem like they're so fucking important because they went somewhere one time.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
Or like they're rich, right? Like they either have a
I understand.
job.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is like when you say you've been to these certain places, I get it. Like
you're an insufferable asshole.
Yeah, like I get
because
it.
That's the thing. Even
you
if I made that kind of money, like I'm assuming because they make probably at least whether they make 150,000 plus or they come from money. Either way, if I made $150,000 a year, you know what I'm not doing? Taking a trip to Paris.
Now,
like no, I'm not. I have no desire.
Now, places that seem desirable for me. One, obviously, is Italy. Now, I know I am Italian. I spent a lot of fucking time learning about Italy.
Right.
Like because I took Italian for 5-7 years, however long we took languages for.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time learning about Italy. I would like to go and see some of the shit that I learned about.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
that would be like, so for me personally, that's like a desirable destination, because whether I go to Rome, Venice, Florence, like I've learned about a lot of those places, or I go down south where like my family actually comes from,
We
fuck,
can't confirm.
fuck Sicily though. I'm not going to Sicily. Fuck that.
No.
Um, like that's fine. Then, like when you talk about a place like Amsterdam or something, I'm not the world's biggest weed guy. I'm not going to solicit a fucking hooker, but like the vibe just seems like something that's dirty, disgusting, gross, and like I'd like to hang out there during the day. I don't need to be there at night. I don't
Right.
like.
Right.
I don't need to go to the cafes. Like I don't need to be fucking stoned off my ass. Like I'm not. I'm not a
Yeah.
weed guy, and I'm not looking for prostitutes. So it's like when the sun goes down, I'll go home. There's nothing out there for me at that point. That's
Yeah.
fucking damn sure. Like Ireland seems cool because I could play golf. Like the
Yeah.
countryside shit.
I would do Ireland or Scotland for the golf.
Yeah.
I would do Italy just for like the food and the culture. Truthfully, I've never been, right? And I'm kind of making this up. But if I had to guess, I would say Spain is probably like the best European country
I
to go
would
to.
I would be so like if we start like power ranking some of these things, so my personal top European country to go to would probably be Italy for reasons I've outlined.
Yeah, mine
After
would
that,
probably be a toss up between Italy and Spain.
then I would go what's GB&I? Is that the UK? No, that's not the UK. Is Great Britain and Ireland, is there a name for that at all? No, because Ireland's separate in
Um,
all ways, shapes, and forms.
yeah,
Because
it's
Great Britain's the three, and the UK involves Northern Ireland,
yep,
but regular Ireland. Okay, yeah, so it's Great Britain and Ireland. I'll just lump them all together, but it's specifically Scotland, Ireland
yeah.
for the golf and like seems cool. Um, some of the I know technically Netherlands isn't fucking Scandinavia or Denmark. Where the fuck is Amsterdam? I don't even know. Is that the
It's in the
Netherlands?
Netherlands. Yeah,
Okay. Those technically aren't Scandinavia, but like so Scandinavia plus Denmark, Netherlands, I'm just lumping all that together.
yeah,
Like some of those cities seem cool. I think Spain would be better than those places. But then when you start getting to like I got no use for Austria. Like I don't ski.
no.
I got no use for Switzerland. I don't ski.
I mean,
Germany seems cool.
Germany would probably be cool. I bet there's a lot of history there. Um,
Not all of it's great.
no, it's not. But like, I think it's also like a very Western type of like. I think it's very similar to the United States.
Probably.
Right.
And then I think that's where my power rankings kind of end. Like maybe you could convince me on Portugal. I just don't know much about the country.
Yeah, I would probably go to the Azores. Like technically, I know it's Portugal. It is Portugal, but I would probably go to the Azores before I went to the mainland Portugal. Um, partially just because that's where my family is from, but partially because I hear it's like some of the most amazing places in the world. Um,
Yeah, but that's like,
but
but then when you take France, it just sounds like different Spain or different Italy.
exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound like the spot I want to go to.
Yeah, it's touristy. It's very like
Yeah, but I like, so when I'm in a different place, I'm pretty touristy because it's like just drop me in the city and let me wander around.
yeah,
That's usually how I kind of like operate.
yeah. That's fair.
So the fact that it's touristy isn't the issue. It's just the things that are there I don't find appealing.
Yeah,
Comparatively to now, like don't get me wrong. If someone wants to give me a free trip to fucking France,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying no. But if
yeah.
they're like, hey,
So
you get a free trip to any of these 5 places, and those 5 places are Italy, Spain, Ireland, France, and Germany, France is fifth.
Yeah. You know who's a sneaky ad in there that's like, I know technically it's Europe, but it kind of is almost borderline the Middle East, is Greece.
Yeah, I don't find Greece overly appealing either. I mean, like I could do what Greece has to offer because the food and like the fucking ancient, like the ancient shit. Like
right. And that's the thing too, like the history part of it.
I'd be down for that. I like lamb.
Yeah, big lamb guy. I actually just bought a lamb steak this week at Market Basket.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, Greece isn't super interesting to me.
Yeah.
I could do it. Greece and France, so I kind of like lump them in the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I talk a lot of shit for a guy that's never fucking like left the country. I've never left the continent, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, same.
Ooh, and then like I would lump Iceland's up there too.
Iceland would be pretty cool to go
Jones
to.
liked it. Chris's brother liked it.
Yeah. I've never heard anything bad about Iceland.
I haven't either, except sometimes a year there's no sun. But
yeah, sometimes it's like fucking 6 degrees is the high.
Yeah.
But like, hey, just don't go in fucking January.
Yeah, pick better times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can talk a lot of shit for a guy that hasn't been to any of these places. Because someone's sitting there like they've been to France and they're like, "You are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever listened to."
Who needs France when you have New Orleans?
Yeah, have you been to New Orleans?
Yeah. Oh, who needs Italy when you have Boston and New York?
Oh,
like anywhere you have any city that, or any place you have in Europe, you can get that in the United States and it's better, right? Portugal, fuck it, go to New Bedford. Germany, go to Pittsburgh.
What does France have? Eiffel Tower, the Louvre.
Yeah.
Which includes the Mona Lisa, right?
Yes.
What else does France have? Don't tell me a countryside. I don't care.
Grapes. They got a lot
am I forgetting something? Like what do like they have to have something, like there's got to be something I'm missing here.
I mean, no. I mean, the philosophers were all French, right? Like the early philosophers like Rene Descartes and
yeah, but he's not there anymore.
Jacques Cousteau.
These guys, I'm not going to run into them. Yeah, I mean, like I know like some of their politics, like whatever. I mean, that's absolutely a fucking strike against them.
Yeah.
Famous shit in France.
Napoleon.
Yeah, he's not there either. Oh, Notre Dame. Fuck. Versailles.
The Hunchback.
All right.
He's not there anymore either.
So I typed in famous shit in France, spelled France wrong. And the first thing that comes up, I'm just going to click on it. 20 prominent things. What is France famous for? Eiffel Tower. Yep, check. That is correct. The Louvre. Yep, check. Got it. Famous. But like, I don't even know what stuff's in there. Like outside of the Mona Lisa, like I don't know what's in there.
I don't know either. I would imagine some Monet, some probably Picasso, maybe some Dali, right? Like I have no idea what's in there.
No idea. Notre Dame. Okay. It's a church. Cool.
It's a shitty school in South Bend, Indiana. See, that's what I mean. Anything that you have in Europe, you can find it in the United States.
Versailles. Versailles.
I don't even know what Versailles is.
Isn't that
they signed a treaty? They signed a treaty there.
It's where the king used to live, right? Isn't that what they had?
Is that the castle? Is that their Buckingham Palace?
Yeah. Moulin Rouge. What's that?
We have castles in the United States.
Fucking, there's a cabaret on Route 1 in fucking Saugus.
It's a shitty movie from like 2004. See, we got all of that here.
And then number 6 on the list, Disneyland Paris.
We have 2 of those here.
We started that. 7, fashion.
We have plenty of fashion
if it fucking kicked me in the face. Fine wines. I'll give you that. but that's not like you're not the only place in the world that has fine.
I mean, the
wine.
wine from California is pretty fine.
Football. That's not even the best kind of football that exists.
Yeah, we have better football over here.
Cars. We got those too.
We
What
got
the
'em.
fuck? What the fuck? Peugeot, is that the French car?
Probably, yeah. That's a shitty car.
It's an awful car. Citroen. That's a car brand, I guess. Peugeot, Opel, Renault,
Yeah, fuck all of those. I'll take Ford, Chevy,
and then 11.
GMC.
Yeah, I am done with this list. France is officially overrated.
Yeah, it's dumb. Anything that's in France, you can find it here.
Okay, see, I'm not going that far. So I know Vegas has an Eiffel Tower, but like,
see, that's what I mean.
France is officially overrated.
Yeah, France sucks.
I've always thought that, but
I agree. So yeah,
this will be great too. Michaela on Monday afternoons, you'll be like, I was really thinking about going to France.
Hey, would you want to take a trip to France? I think we should do our honeymoon in France.
Like I can name at least 5 countries better than that.
Yeah. So there we have it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, again, give subscribe, thumbs up, like, rate, review wherever you're at. If you're an audio only guy, same thing. Tell everybody you know about the show. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. The website sarcasmspeaks.com. Shout out to the sponsors, Moon Brew. You can go to moonbrew.com, use the promo code Jared16159. Stupid promo code. They still haven't responded to me when I sent them an email to change the promo code. So
because they're probably not gonna. Yeah,
I'll have to badger them and send them more emails. Be like, hey, just following up. Also, grillyourassoff.com. Oh, sorry. That promo code, Jared16159, will get you 10% off your entire order at Moon Brew. Check it out. Great stuff. Nighttime tea. Awesome. Makes your sleep great. Grillyourassoff.com. The same, that promo code is Sarcasm Pod, right? I have too many promo codes to remember now. Sarcasm Pod will get you 10% off at grillyourassoff.com every single time you check out over there. You can use the same promo code Sarcasm Pod at mybookie.com to double your first deposit up to $1,000. This is actually not helpful, but I was going to say you can open an account, double your deposit, and then bet it all on the Florida Panthers. But you guys are going to be hearing this tomorrow, so it's too late. So you missed out. I think that covers all the bases. So until next time, good night, everybody.